Namaste.
Om Namaskar, everyone. Vidyaji, I need a little bit more time. I had a
Yes,
little
ma'am.
bit of a document accident in the
Okay.
sense that
Understood.
whatever I had typed all afternoon went away. So I'm quickly doing a little bit. It's just a little more left. So
Sure.
can you please do the prayer and then I will come back. I thought we
Yes.
will do past passive participle since it's already, this is there, no?
Okay.
Accident. One second. In the sense that
Yes,
whatever I
Swaminiji.
had all afternoon went away. So I'm quickly. Yeah, so I'm just recreating it and it won't take very long. I'm almost done.
Yes, Swaminiji.
Please do the prayer. And yeah, I just may need about 3 to 5 minutes.
Sure, Swaminiji.
Thank you.
Namaste. We can start with the prayers. So, who would like to do Shuklambaradharam? Amalaji.
I can start.
Okay, Bhaskarji.
Om Shuklam Bharataram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadhanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye.
Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada.
Gurur Brahma. Kshamyatam. Yena akshara samam nayam.
Yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha.
Sahana vavatu.
Sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryan karvavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Bahusamichinam, very good. So, namaste, suprabhatam to Joshi ji, Bhaskar ji, Sara ji, Vasanti ji, Prema ji, Niyati ji, Swamini ji, Amala ji, Shambhavi ji, Lalita ji, Bhaskar ji, Sharmila ji. So, Swamini ji is right here, and Swamini ji will be will start very soon. Even before I could say that, Swamini ji did. Yes, Swamini ji.
Thank you very much. So I thought we could do the namaste to everyone. Thank you, Vidyaji, for filling in a little bit because I was very excited and then I prepared something and then it got, I don't know what happened, it got garbled and so I had to recreate some of it. Perhaps because of the eclipse, there is one eclipse somewhere in Antarctica and we can use that as an excuse. So these things happen, unexpected, expect the unexpected, they say. So I thought we could do the, what is that? We could do the past passive participle today. We can enter that only because the rules for the passive voice is fresh in the mind and it's a good segue to do this and see how sometimes we can substitute the passive verb for actually a participle, past passive participle. So I thought we can just go over some of the things today and then make a start. something that I've been thinking about in the light of two things. One is the what is that? The steadily attritioning rate of students. We started off with, I think, in the beginning we had 45 people. Then after that we had about 35 for a few weeks. Then we held very steady at about 28, 29 for a long time. Then it was in the early 20s, and now it has become a teenager. So in the light of this, I'm just, I'd like to also open it up to people to see if this a little break may be warranted. We can come back a little later, because sometimes what happens is, it's like many things come in the way. People get busy and people can't catch up with the homework. I mean, many people have told me, I just wish I had more time for homework. I'm really behind, and some of them are still coming. But then they come with they somehow come. But many people, because of the sheer guilt or something, I don't know what, but may have just not stopped. I may have stopped coming. That could also be the thing. Now we can study. If that is the case, there are some options. We can study without the homework, but then it's not the way to go, because it's the depth will be lacking. And it's like somebody teaching, but then you're not able to, what's the word for it? You're not able to internalize it and make the language your own. So that is, that is one problem. So I thought earlier that we could take a break, perhaps in June, when I have some travel coming up, so I'll be going away for some time, God permitting and Corona permitting. And but it looks like people need the break right now. I mean, so shall we have a conversation about this before we get into the passive participles?
Swamini if you give us a break, we'll forget all that we have been doing. So I think we should still have some continuation with at least practice. That one that we did that February, March timeframe, that was very helpful. So similarly, I think whoever is available, we should still do practice in the class. That helps me a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Like even when I struggle with the homework, so I'm not able to really complete, but coming back here and again refreshing, that helps me to understand and relate.
Okay. Thank you for that input. Others?
Swaminiji, the homeworks are really very important.
Yeah.
I have been doing the homework, but I have not sent it to you for review. It is, but still, it is very important to do that. And I like the idea of the break in the form of just doing the homeworks.
Okay. A homework break.
Yeah.
Homework filled break.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a samasa. Yeah. Madhyamapada lopa samasa. Homework filled break.
My suggestion is homework should be discussed again. So that
homework should be, sorry, what? Homework should be?
In the next class should be discussed so that we'll understand it better.
Yeah, but only when people send, then we can discuss. Otherwise, it's just classwork. Okay, so that's
hesitation is there because don't know whether we're doing it correctly at all.
Right. Yeah, but when people send, we can discuss. But the sending has, also, what should I say, become a little less, because I think people are busy. And this is, that's why what we initially thought was, okay, we'll have maybe 10 weeks, like we thought we'll structure it like a semester long, every semester, to 12 weeks or so, not even 12 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, something like that we have been doing. 10 weeks, I think. And so there is a little bit of a, what's that called? One is Sanskrited out. There's a little bit of fatigue I sense. May not be physical, but a language-related fatigue. And so perhaps a break with some structure and a place to report that or something might be in order, I'm thinking.
Dominiji, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, this is great. You know what my problem was, that we never talked about the homework during the class. And what I for myself need, and then I get late, and then what I needed for myself is when I did the homework, then not just sending this to you, but in the next class to talk about this. This would, for me, would have been very helpful.
Yeah, we did talk about it quite a bit, but not as much perhaps as you wanted, and that I can understand. But we did talk about it on several occasions. I remember.
I remember, but in this.
Yeah, but you needed more, and I can appreciate that. Yeah, that's a good input. You needed more of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Then.
Somini ji.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think homework is a great motivating factor also, because once we get the corrections back, and you can become more friends with your own book. So it helps you keep in put in that self-effort. And selfishly, I'm not for a break, because even if it means making the time for it, it's something that is very enjoyable. So
yeah, okay,
that's what I feel.
I hope you remain popular with everyone. That's all, because if everybody is thinking of a break and you say,
yeah, I know.
So, yeah, but it's good that you pointed that out. Anyone else?
Swaminiji, I agree that, I mean, probably a break is, I mean, I cannot say whether the break is necessary or not, because it's also beneficial that the class is continued. But instead of having a break for some time, maybe you can have like 1 day a week for a couple of weeks, and then again resume 2 days a week. Is that an option?
Okay, that's also one more option. Good to get the input. What else?
Maybe a few days of revision, like again, and
2 days of revision, like we did last time.
Yeah, something.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, the revision definitely was very, very helpful.
Yeah.
There is no doubt.
Yeah, we had, I think, the first 6 or 7 classes, whatever we had done up till January or something, that was revised in the last break. Correct? December to January,
right,
that was
right.
revised.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm also wondering, if you got all the homeworks from all the participants, it's a lot of work for you too, for you and Vidyaji. So is it possible that maybe we could form smaller groups and
Bhaskar ji, sorry to interrupt, but it'll be like the blind leading the blind, because no one is so well rooted in that like Vidyaji and Somini ji. So
no doubt.
One will learn wrong, and that will be horrible to unlearn.
Yeah, I would agree with Vasanti ji actually.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, we can't. Sorry, but it's frightening me, the thought of that.
No, I thought I could group with you to.
I'm no better.
Exactly, I was thinking the same, because I'm actually lost in the homework, and only the classes really help me. So, I was thinking, if we form group, I'll be part of Vasanti ji and Bhaskar.
Oh my God. Ask Vidya ji. I send her the homework sometimes thinking Somni ji is busy. Sometimes I'll send it to Somni ji thinking Vidya ji is busy, and look at the number of errors that come. So no, it will be the blind leading the blind. No.
No, actually,
think-
Chris is also very good. I mean, at least from whatever I
I
have seen.
think Amala wanted to say something. Did you, Amala?
Yes, I also would agree, don't agree with the break. I would like to continue the class with perhaps more revision in between.
Okay, all right. You and Vasanti are friends now. Sarah?
I wasn't sending in my homework because I was afraid it would be too much for someone to correct. And also, I did get overwhelmed with a passive voice when I realized that I needed to know which class each verb was in.
Yeah.
And because of there being so many verbs, I realized I was going to have to go back to the beginning and relearn which class each verb is in and make sure I know all the verbs.
Yeah,
And
that's why we saved it for the last.
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
And it means seeing less of you both, seeing you both on weekends like this one-on-one is awesome. So I don't want to stop that.
Yeah, got it. Anybody else?
Lalita ji, Bhaskar ji wanted to
Yeah,
say
yeah. Are you
something.
back from India?
Yes, we just
Okay.
came back and
Yeah, tell us, they were also, first they were turning in two homeworks, then they decided to do the homework together and turn in one homework. Now there is no homework coming from them either.
we agree. I think we are guilty of not able to keep up with.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear us now?
Better, yes.
Okay. We definitely missed a few classes over the past month, and we would welcome a small break to kind of catch up and recover or
Okay.
relearn all the classes that we missed.
Okay.
I would also like to have a small break, but give us, from Vijay and you give us something to do during this, to review and maybe something to do that we can go through the class by ourselves again. And if we have some question and then we start again, we can put or send you some question during this or something like this.
Or just memorization, because that is, like when you say, what is the third case of this? One should know by now. I feel I don't, and more work is required in that. So even if we just sit memorizing, that itself is a lot of work.
I was going to say that what we need to do is go back and use all the quizzes that Chris set up to assimilate the vocabulary and then do regular chanting of the tables. Those are the only ways that we're really going to acquire the information that we need in order to even get through passive voice, it seems to me.
That applies to all the homework that we did. Whatever homework we did, I had to really go back to the book and look at all the cases, everything. That's the only way I could do. I cannot remember. I'm sorry, I cannot remember. Only a little bit here and there. Rama, 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 I can remember. But afterwards, no. So it is very hard to. So I have to go back to the book to look at all the vibhaktis, all the tenses, the the tense, I'm sorry, the verb, not declensions, whatever we call it. So all of those, I have to really go back and look at the book and to be able to even do all the homework. So it takes a long time for me to do, say, when you say do the 10 sentences, it takes a long time, but I enjoy doing it. Okay, what is interesting is, it is every time I get something that I think is correct, I have a eureka feeling. It's really fun.
That's very good input. And who else?
This time's homework, I had to go through all those aham and Yushmat, then all those things. There's so many ways which we had to use it for this homework.
Right.
So lots there to go through and understand and do.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is one thing. The other thing I just wanted to know, because I go through the dictionary, spoken Sanskrit dictionary, for some vocabulary, and for a given word, I find a lot of different ways of, but I don't know which needs to be really used in that particular sentence. I don't know how to.
Yeah. Right now, stick with the textbook that we are working, and most of the vocabulary is there, and the meaning is given. So we'll stick to the meanings, and as we grow in the knowledge more and more, then we can be more versatile about using the words, in a more, flexible way, or seeing multiple meanings or the context. It's mostly the context. As we start using it and expose ourselves to more sentences, more more vocabulary in the form of more forms, like past, passive, participles, all these things, then we learn to recognize what is this, what is that. And it in Sanskritam, it all goes back to the root verb dhatu. And then from that same root verb, which is not really a word, then you can make you can make some primary nouns, and you can make verbs, and then you can make secondary nouns, you can make compounds. Everything comes from that. And then when you look at dhatu patha, there is one thing, you can download it off the internet, and each root verb has been given two or three, sometimes 4 or 5 meanings. Very, very interesting. So, like for example, shad, which comes at the end of the word Upanishad. Shad is a verb that has 3 meanings. Vicharana, gati, avasadanayoho. So, vicharana means to dissipate. Gati means movement, going towards something, and avasadana is uprootment. So it's there in all these 3 sentences, senses. And then so this is how we know, because it is sometimes only one meaning is given, sometimes more than 2, and sometimes 2 meanings are given. So that's how and of course the meanings will change when we put the prefixes and suffixes, but we get at least a general sense of what this is all about. Niyati, would you like to say anything about this discussion?
I don't want a break. I think I agree with the others who don't want a break, because we lose that track of continuity, and then it'll get even more difficult to come back to it.
Yeah.
And I feel, at least I am not that self-disciplined, that if you give a break for like a month and say finish all this, and then I think I would probably wait till like the last week to finish everything that was so
Yeah. Okay. Message taken. So I think we
Swamini
have
ji.
short break. Yeah, Vidyaji, tell.
So a couple of things to address some of the points brought out by various responses.
Please go ahead.
So one, this memorization, one, it should not be dreaded, and two, you should not feel either overwhelmed, nor should you feel inadequate just because you have not memorized, because if you cannot memorize, you can't do anything about it. So the best way to do is to become familiar. Familiarity is what is important. Whether you memorize or not, the familiarity is what we should work on. And how do you become familiar? You should have, when we learn a lot, there is a lot of material, and you flip pages and you go all over the place. It becomes difficult to keep track of. So you need to keep something that is like a reference. You keep a reference for the vibhakti usage. You have one reference page that says, what is the application of the third vibhakti? What is the application of the fourth vibhakti? So you keep one reference for the application of the vibhakti. And then, of course, we made the table of all the various ganas. We made the forms. So you use that to identify which form you want. So you need to do both without knowing the application of the vibhakti. If you look in the tables, it will be like a forest it will be like a wilderness, and it can be overwhelming. That is one thing I wanted to mention. And the other is this, I think some self-confidence needs to be boosted. So that self-confidence is that you have the ability to, you have to trust yourself. You make a mistake, it is all right, but you recover from that mistake. If you don't have that confidence, even if you do right, it will not stick with you. Doing right and doing wrong will both be have the same blurriness around them. So one possibility is, when we practice, maybe students can take turns to lead the practice session, or to lead the each sentence. Each of you can lead, and I will be there, or Swaminiji will be there, and we can steer it the way it should be. But that way you can gain confidence. I think that confidence building also is needed.
Yeah, very good point. Sharmila?
Yeah, Vidyaji, when you said like one reference for the application of vibhakti, what do you mean? Is it like the example? Like if it is an instrumental case, I should have an example? Is that what you're meaning?
No, we studied the vibhaktis, no, earlier. So what
Yeah.
each one is for. So we have, it's nice to put that all on a sheet. I mean, of course, it will not all fit in a sheet because the teaching was quite extensive around it. But at least the general area and idea, you just have that. If you can't have it memorized, what she was suggesting is you have one reference sheet. Like fifth case, what does it mean? Fourth case, what is it used for generally? And so you have that, you build up a familiarity so that you don't get overwhelmed. Like how Sarah was saying, like the passive voice was going along very nicely, but then what is that, when it was discovered that each and every tense and mood that we have studied has a passive formation, and it was just another level of engagement. And so that's what, it is like slowly familiarizing oneself. And it's not, she's absolutely correct. It's not all about memory. It is in a way, but then that's, if you study Sanskritam when you were 6, then it is all about memory. You just memorize. For children, it's so easy. But then, the same cannot be expected later on in life. But the idea is, as Vidyaji was saying, you know where to go and you know what to look for. That is what is a great blessing. You know where to go and you know what to look for. You may not have the answers right now, but you know where to go to get those answers. And that is what the whole idea is. We build up. That's why, I try to give a lot of handouts so that those are there in addition to the references, and in addition to the textbooks and everything we have, so that and they are just a few pages, so that you can look at examples, you can do that. And that's why Vidyaji also insists on a very thorough approach to all this. And so no need to feel like, oh, you're not doing enough, because then that will be, as she said, that will factor into the sense of a dejection, like, oh, I'm not doing homework, and now we are discussing why I'm not doing homework. So this is, this should not be the reason, and remember how you were when you first joined in October or January or whenever it was. And there was a freshness, there was a desire to participate, there was just this enthusiasm. And so, so that's why I suggested sometimes, after a break, people feel a little bit whatever. So maybe we can have, I'll talk to Vidyaji and see what it's like, and then how to communicate. Are all the people here on that group? Some group? WhatsApp group? Yes.
Yes.
Is there
Yes.
anybody
Yes.
that's not on the group? Okay, so good. So she and I will discuss, and then we will keep you informed what's going to happen starting next week. Okay, and so I would like to talk with Vidyaji a little more, and then we'll taking into account everybody's input. We will keep you informed, and then it won't be. I think it need not be a big break, or it could be something like meeting once a week for a few weeks until everybody has had the time to catch up and do some revision of all the things that have been done so far. We'll see. Some form it will take to keep as many people happy as possible. Okay. Yeah. So with these words, shall we turn to, would you like to learn past passive participle?
Yes,
I think
please.
I think it's a lot of fun, but if you don't want to, we can do some revision right now. If you'd rather not learn anything new today, up to you.
I want to learn it because I think it makes things easier in some ways.
Yeah, it's a little shortcut. It's nice.
But that doesn't remove our having to learn all that has been learned before.
True. So, anybody else does not want to learn? If so, speak up right now. Okay. As they say, silence is what? We don't know what it is, but we will just take it as as no objection for right now. Okay. Let's see. Let me share this, and then I'll tell you what happened to the document as we go to it. So there will be some typos, and we'll correct it as we go, because it lost the Devanagari formatting, which is what I was frantically trying to what should I say, fix just before the class. Are you able to see this document?
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. Let's how to make this go away. Yeah, there we go. Is it big enough? Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. So now there is a technical word that Panini has for past passive participle. It is called Nishtta. This highlighted word here. Of course, we use that in Vedanta also, not to be confused with Jnana Nishtha, which is Nitaram Sthitihi, which is abidance in, always abidance, a continuous abidance is Nishtha. But here, that is not being talked about. It is merely a technical term to define the past passive participles, of which there are two in number. There are two kinds. Okay. And so therefore this appears in the sutra. So one of them is called kta, okay, and the other one is called ktavat, okay. And then immediately you should be, you must be having a sense of what is happening here. What is this kta? So there is a there is a it letter here. The ka is the it letter in both of them. So the sutra 1126 reads kta ktavatu nishtha. Yeah, would you like to repeat that so that you're having enthusiasm? It will help if you unmute yourself. Yeah.
Kata, katavatu, nishta.
Yeah. Ktavatu nishtha.
Nishta.
Yeah. So then you might wonder, what is this kta? More about that soon. And then when it is in a compound here, why does it have the long u? And what is this? Actually, it is a short u, ktavatu, and it is got a chandra biddu on top of it, meaning it's a nasalized u. Okay. Yeah. which we have, and then if you wonder why didn't you put the Anuswara on top of it, the Chandra Bindu, the crescent moon with a dot on it, why didn't you put it? I will say because partly it has gone out of custom to do that for the sutras. So, tavatu, cha. So, that which is called kta, and along with ktavatu, then like guruhu, then what? Guru, right? So the dual. So since there are two, it is called kta, ktavatu, nishtha. Okay. Kta cha, ktavatu cha. Now we'll come to this ka there. This kakara or the ka sound is what is called an indicatory letter. We have seen other examples of indicatory letters, yes? Show some signs of
Yes,
life.
Swaminiji, the
Yeah.
R, for example, or A,
Yeah.
or how you say.
Yeah, so we've seen some examples of the indicatory letter, and most recently we have also seen ka as an example of an indicatory letter. I wonder where.
Maheshwara Sutrani.
No, recently. Maheshwara was last life. Yeah, we studied in the previous Janma. Right now, recently, we saw ka as an example of a it letter in another affix. Think. We have time.
There is ik, I think, some.
Yeah, but in another suffix.
This is nouns with the ending ka.
No, we are not talking of nouns. We are talking of the Paninian use of the indicatory letter called it in the sutras. And recently, what was the last topic we studied? Anybody? Somebody?
Passive voice.
Passive voice.
What do we add to the to make something, what do we add to the root to make it passive?
Yeah.
It's not just it's yak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I told you, don't mistake it for the sound that children make when you put a plate of food. It's not that yuck. It is yuck. Okay. It is yuck. And so that also is a kith, correct? That also has ka as an ith letter. And so then, so here also we find that same ka except it's in the beginning. Doesn't matter, but it's there. Kta and ktavatu, ktavat, both of them have this ka. And then what happens to the it letter? Adarshanam. And what is adarshanam? Lopaha. Tasya lopaha. Adarshanam lopaha, meaning it is elided, it disappears. So then yielding the following suffixes, ta and tavat. Are you with me so far or are you without me?
Yes.
Yes, Swaminiji.
Yes, Swaminiji.
So now, if the kakara is going to disappear completely, then why have it at all? Because it has two important indications, two functions, and it gives some salient information about how to use these past passive participle suffixes, how they are formed. Now, as we saw with the passive voice pratyaya, which was yak, okay, which is also a kith. Okay, what is kith? Ka it yasya. That, the ka is the, what is that? I thought I defined that also somewhere. Yeah. Ka it yasya. Ka is the it indicatory letter for which suffix? That is kith. Okay. And then we saw that yak was the pratyaya, passive voice pratyaya. And then there I had explained that this ka, one thing it does is negates the possibility of guna vriddhi changes to the dhatu. So we could all relax in passive voice. Even though Sarah got a little overwhelmed at the end, we could still relax in the passive voice because we didn't have to, figure out what is the guna of what is the vriddhi of what. We could just very happily, pin the yak on the dhatu, with a blindfolded, without any worries about going wrong. because there was no guna changes, no vriddhi, except of course the 10th conjugation, but that's an exception rather than a rule. And so same thing here. That is what makes the past passive participle very calming, because you don't have to worry about things like things we will have to do much later, like the vriddhi of the first what is that, the first vowel, etc., etc. So we don't have to, or the last one, middle one, nothing. You don't guna, nothing. So then you just tag along this, that's all. After removing the it letter, you just tag it along. So for instance, ni, what does ni mean?
Lead.
Yeah, ni, to lead, plus ta. And then the ka goes away. So ni plus ta, nita. Nita means what? If it's a past passive participle, what does nita mean?
Led.
Yes, led. That's why we have all these names in India. Sunita is a name. She who is led well, and then we also have, Anita. That is the name of a goddess. Why? Because Neta na vidyate yasya. She is the leader. She has no leader. You see, it all comes from this Nita. And then, and so here, what is there to notice other than the fact that this is a common word which which some of us are familiar with? Notice that the ni dhatu does not take guna or vriddhi. Okay? Whereas ni plus, what is that? Ni plus the tip, ni plus tip. You don't immediately say niti. You have to say ni takes guna, ne, and then nai, and then nayati. Remember all that? Yeah. All that is not there. You immediately put, it does not take guna or vriddhi. Similarly, smru. What does smru mean?
To remember.
Remember. Yeah. I'm glad you remember that. That is nice. So, smru plus ta is what? Smrita. Smrita. Not smarta, no guna. Or smarta, even though there is a word called smarta, it's a different this thing. Okay? It is people who follow the smriti are called for smartas. It's a tadhita. So we don't have to worry about that here. So here smrita, remembered straight away. And then how do we apply tavat? In the same way. Ni tavat and smritavat. Okay, you just tag on the suffix there. Okay, see, this is what happened over here when I was, to the document. You see what has happened here? Yeah, so I'll be changing it as we speak. Yeah, so the second function of a kit pratyaya, that which ends in or begins, which has ka as an it letter, is to alert us to the presence of something called samprasarana. And we had a little bit of a taste of, we had some prasarana for appetizer one day when we saw the past, the passive, voice, the passive formation of what, vach. What does vach becomes? Vach, vakti. What happens? What happens to vach?
E. Ooh.
Somebody said, ooh, I'm grasping at straws here. I'm ready to take anything. Okay. So it becomes what?
Ooh.
Ooh, uchyate. Uchyate. Vach becomes uchyate. And then vad becomes udyate. All right. So that is samprasarana. And so what is this samprasarana? Let us look at it a little more so that we know what it is. We don't have to go too deep, but just to understand what it is. We have a Paninian Sutra, ig yanaha, ik plus yanaha, samprasaranam. This is the definition of samprasarana and where it is applied. Okay. So what is samprasarana? Samprasarana is a grammatical operation by which a semi-vowel, do we know our semi-vowels? What are they? List them off, please.
Yara lava.
Yara,
Lava.
la, and yara, va, and la. Okay. Yeah. By which a semi-vowel is changed into a simple vowel. Do we know our simple vowels?
A, I,
A,
U.
I, un.
A, I, U, and what happens to r?
I.
R, L.
R. Ah, that also we have to include. Okay. So a semi-vowel is changed into a simple vowel of the same sthana or place of articulation. So we already saw this in Yan Sandhi. Correct? We have seen this. We have already seen this. And ya, ya is replaced by what? By this rule?
E.
Ya
U.
is replaced by E. Same place of, similar place of articulation. Both are palatal. Va is replaced by what?
U.
U. And then ya, va, and then ra.
R.
Ra.
R.
Yeah, r. Ra is replaced by r, and r is replaced by
R.
L.
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 L, yeah, l. So the pratyahara called ik. Where did this ik come from? Now I feel like it's not saying ik, but eek. Where did this come from? So it is here, hidden in the sandhi. Ik plus yan. Okay, ik yanaha samprasaranam. So that ik plus yan becomes igyan. Okay. Yeah. So the pratyahara means a phoneme. The Paninian phoneme called ik includes simple vowels e, u, r, lr. Got it? And these become substitutes for the yan letters, which are semi-vowels ya, va, ra, and la, respectively. That respectively is very important. So e is ya, u is va, r is ra. Sorry, the other way around. The ya becomes e and the va becomes u, like that. Okay. And then the semi-vowels change into the simple vowels. And then, so respectively. So some grammarians use the word, this is just a little, what is that? Samprasarana trivia. Okay. Yeah. And, you have permission to forget it promptly. So some grammarians use the term samprasarana to refer to the resultant vowel, while some others use the term to refer to the operation of the substitution itself, and both are okay. So what does this substitution look like? For example, the root verb swap. What does swap mean?
Sleep.
Sleep. Swap, yeah. And we have, this is not a conjugation we have studied, but nonetheless, swap means to sleep. So swap plus kta, without this rule, should have just become what? What should have?
Swapta.
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 But that is not the form, because the very presence of the vowel va here triggers samprasarana. And so what is the vowel substitute for va?
U.
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 So 1 minute. I saw something else.
What about long vowels, Swaminiji? A and E.
1 minute. Hold on. Something happened here. Yeah. What was your question?
We talked of the short vowels. What about the long vowels?
What about them?
Do they have?
I don't think I understand the question.
We said, E becomes ya.
Yeah.
What about the long E?
No, the other way.
E or E would
Yeah.
become
No, E doesn't become, E doesn't become ya.
yeah.
Ya becomes E.
Yeah, becomes
Yeah.
And verb becomes small u as well as long u.
I don't see
And
how
possibly,
possibility is there, but you don't generally see it.
because ik
Yeah.
refers to the ik, the ik comes from Maheshwara Sutra, if
Yeah.
I may, Swaminiji.
Yes, yes.
The ik comes from Maheshwara Sutrani, right? A, I, un, r, luk. So the a, I, un of the Maheshwara Sutrani, the a stands for a and a, I and many more. I stands for I and E. So when they say ik, it is referring to from the Maheshwara Sutrani. Therefore, potentially I can be I or E. And it didn't have a because it's only ik and
Ik.
not ak.
There's no a. Simple vowels without a. Thank you. So then, so the very presence of the va, then immediately it becomes, so let's see what happens, okay? What is the vowel substitute for va? Oo.
Ooh.
So here I have separated it so that you see how the samprasarana has taken place. S plus va plus p, swap, right? So these two are without the vowel, and there is only one vowel here, the a with the va here. So then the va is changed into u. Sa, s plus u plus u plus the. So then swap becomes supta. Okay? All right. Then, oh, this is also gone somewhere here. Yeah, Prishta, up, upta. Lot of mistakes got made here because of this, I don't know, some problem. Similarly, it's just like the passive voice. Vad becomes udita. There udyate, here udita. Why this e? We will discuss that later. So don't worry about it now. Okay? It is another augment called it. It is literally called it. Okay? Yeah. And then yaj becomes not Panini, Antoine will call these irregular forms. Okay, yaj becomes ishta, vyadh becomes vidha. Why does vyadh become vidha?
Yeah, turns to E.
Ya turns to E. And then yaj becomes the ya here, turns also again to E. Grah becomes grihita. Do you see how the ra has become ru? Prach, to ask. Grah, to grasp. Vyadh, to pierce. Becomes, oh, here is again, it's missing. Prishta. Vap. What does vap mean?
So,
To sow. Okay. Not as in dresses. Sow in the ground. To sow things in the ground. Upta. Oh, here is already there. Yeah. So, upta. So, uptavat. Here also you can have the same for tavat also. Udita, uditavat. Like that. Okay. And yeah, so for words, if anybody is interested in the prasarana, please see the Paninian Sutras 6, 1, 13 to 19. Okay, yeah. Now, if you are wondering, what is the difference between the ta and tavat? What is the difference? So the particles, oh, this got disappeared also. Okay, the participles with the ta affix are declining like Rama, Sita, and Phalam in the masculine, feminine, and neuter respectively. Can you assimilate that? Is that clear? Like Suptaha, Simhaha. Suptaha Simhaha. Okay, here it is adjectival usage of the past passive participle. The slept lion. The lion, that is the slept lion. We don't have this in English. So that's why it's sounding awkward. So the slept lion. Supta simhika. The slept lioness. Okay. Like so they in so like suptaha suptau suptaha, like that, like ramaha ramo ramaha, this will decline. And in the masculine, in the feminine, you just add a long it will decline like lata sita shala. Got it? And in the neuter, it will decline like phalam.
Suptam.
Suptam, very good. Suptam phalam you can't say, but for this you can get away with it, just for a grammatical exercise. Okay, you can't say the slept fruit, but you know. So this declines like Rama, Sita, phalam in the masculine, feminine, and neuter respectively. But what about tavat? The tavat suffix words decline like bhagavat in the pullinga, nadi in the strilinga, and jagat in the napunsakalinga respectively. Everybody looks suddenly very dejected. Please smile, okay? Yeah. So now from every 15 minutes you have to smile in all the Sanskrit classes from now on for those who don't need a break. Okay. So, yeah. So Bhagavat Shabda, how does it decline? I just need the nominative singular, please. Yeah. Because we talk about that all the time in Vedanta class.
Isn't it Bhagavan?
Yes, very good. Fantastic. You deserve a chocolate, except you don't eat it. You're on some diet. So doesn't matter. I can just give it to you mentally. So Bhagavan. Okay. Bhagavantau. Bhagavantaha. Okay. So anything, so tavat, you see, it will be decline like Bhagavan in the masculine, Nadi in the Strilinga. At least the first line of Nadi. Anybody? Please, Preti, please. Please, please, please.
Nadi, Nadyau, Nadyah.
Very nice. Nadi, Nadyau, Nadyah. So, like for example, we can use the word, you can use the root verb, the dhatu gam. Gam means what?
To go.
Not that which you chew.
To go.
Vidyaji, respectfully, please don't give hints, at least until later. Okay, yeah. So, to go, all right? And then if you just add gata, if you just add the, it will be gam gata, because some of the makara, nakara ending things, as we will see, lose the nasal. And so it will be gata. Gataha Ramaha, Gata Sita, Gatam Phalam means rotten fruit. Okay, so Gatam Phalam, we can do that. But then Gatavat means Gatavan, you know, Gatavan. And then Nadi, like Nadi, Gatavati Sita.
I have a question, Swaminiji.
Yes.
What is, sorry, I think I got lost, obviously. What is the difference between kta and ktavat?
Yeah, here there are two differences. We are on the first difference. The first difference is that the ta affix words decline like Rama, Sita, and Phalam in the masculine, feminine, and neuter respectively, while the tavat affix words decline like Bhagavat, Nadi, and Jagat respectively.
So I meant to not about that, but I wanted to ask about, one is a present tense and the other is a past tense.
No. Both are past participles. We'll come to the next one. Just hang in there. We haven't covered that yet. Just let's just assimilate this first, okay? Because this is important. Because Gatavan, if we don't know how to do it, then Gatavat we will be thinking it just it will be just like Rama or something like that. So the masculine will be like Bhagavat, exactly like Bhagavat. So what is you open the Bhagavat table, and then anything like Uptavat, if we say Uptavan, Uptavantau, Uptavantaha. So what is the meaning of the word Uptavan? If you are asking me, it is exactly like that. Sowed. Okay? Sowed. And then, so that is the first difference. Now, is this clear so far? Yeah?
Yes.
Will you
Yes.
be able to explain it to a friend?
Yes, Swaminiji.
Fantastic. Say yes, even if you don't want to.
I
Okay.
can.
Then the second difference, this is what Bhaskarji was asking. The ta affix, I see all the Sanskrit has gone away here, yeah. The ta suffix is generally used in passive formations, karmani prayoga, that also has gone, okay. In karmani prayoga, in karmani or passive formations, whereas tavat is used in kartari or active formations. Okay, like Rama phalam khaditavan. Active. Okay, it is kartari prayoga. It still means Rama ate the fruit. It is here a verbal substitute for akhadat, which is the past tense, right? Got it? We'll see some examples.
It's easier than the past tense.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that is those are the two differences. One difference is how they decline in the masculine, feminine, and neuter, and the second difference is that the ta is a typical passive formation usage suffix, whereas the tavat is used in generally in the active voice. And both of them. What? Yes.
If I may just go back and qualify the second sentence, when it says it is used in karmani, you substitute it for the karma.
It will come. It will come. It will become. This is just a point. This is the main. What should I say? Outline, and we'll be going into these two. It will come. Yeah, because I was struggling with it, I didn't have time to send it to you. So you have not. I was not able to send it to you because it was just doing all kinds of funny things. Yeah.
Yes,
So you haven't yet seen it. So yeah. So so the usage of both these participles. Both participles means what? Show some signs of life, please.
Tavat.
Yeah. Can be either adjectival or verbal. So verbal usage or the adjectival usage. So let us look at the adjectival usage first. Somebody please read this. Niyati, read this sentence.
Tatena devdattena vedaha appathyat.
Read it again.
Gatena devdattena.
It's not devdattena.
Yeah,
Is
sorry.
the verb half or full?
Verse full.
Yeah. So please read again.
Gatena devdattena vedaha appathyat.
Apathyat?
Appathyata.
Now read the whole sentence again. Gatena
Devadattena
Yeah.
Vedaha
Vedaha
Apathyata.
apathyata. So, gatena means what?
Gone.
Yeah, I should hide the translation. Gatena means what? Maybe it was too late, but nonetheless. Yeah, for whatever it's worth.
Gone.
Yeah, gata means gone. So, gatena means
Gone.
ramena.
Was gone.
Gatena.
Oh.
Oh, I can't see the Samskrita sentence, Swaminiji.
Oh, too bad. Yeah. Yeah. So, gatena, I'll make it bigger. Now, can you see?
We can see.
No, no, as in it is below the window.
Others can
we-
see.
we
We now
can see.
we can see Swaminiji.
Yeah.
We can see.
Oh,
All right.
okay,
So,
all right.
gata
Yes,
means what?
Shamita.
Gone. Okay. Gatena means what? Which case is gatena?
Third case.
Yeah. So, what's
Instrumental.
the meaning? Yeah. What's the meaning? Translate gatena.
Gone with.
No.
By.
Yeah.
Yeah, gone by.
Yeah. So it is a adjectival usage. So gatena is an adjective to devadatta. Gatena devadattena, by the gone devadatta. So what was, apathyata means what?
Study.
Past,
Read.
Had studied.
Very good. Past tense. Very good. And
past
then-
tense.
Yeah, past
Where-
tense. What kind of past tense?
Studied or read.
Yeah, but what kind of past tense? If the subject is in third case, what kind of past tense do we have?
Oh, passive.
Passive past tense, yeah. And what was studied? Veda.
Vedaha.
So here is the translation. By the departed Devadatta, the Veda was studied. Is this verbal usage of the past participle, or is it adjectival usage?
Adjectival.
Adjective, because it is qualifying what kind of Devadatta is being talked about. All right? Yeah. And then we'll
Do
see.
they mean he died or something? Departed? Is
Definitely, you can take it that way. Or he might have just gone Gramantaram. He might have gone to the next village. We don't know. Yeah, it could be a memorial service for him where somebody is speaking well of him. Could be that. Or it could just be friends remembering, oh, this Devadatta who has just gone to the next village, who's moved to the next village, Gatena Devadattena Vedaha Apathyata. Okay, now we'll understand the verbal usage. Please read this. Okay, no use hiding it because it is the translation is right there. Devadattaha gataha. Devadatta was. We don't make a difference here because we don't have this in it's usually was. Devadatta gone. Actually, it would just be Devadatta gone, but then we are constrained to add is was. Devadatta gone. Devadatta was gone. You see how this is a verbal usage and how this is an adjectival usage. Yeah.
Yes, Swaminiji.
Yes,
because to
Swaminiji.
go is a verb and the devata was gone or is gone.
Not
So-
Devadatta. Yeah, Devadatta. Yeah. So Devadatta was gone, and that is that is substituting the verb. We would have used a verb. Devadattaha agachat, for example. Devadatta went. But here Devadattaha gataha. Now here this is basically a verbal usage, and here we have the adjectival usage. So similarly with the with the word gatavat, if we take Devadattaha gatavan, Sita gatavati, phalam gatavat. Okay. And Vasanti, whether the fruit has relocated or whether it's really gone, it's up to our imagination. Okay? Yeah. So let's stop here. We'll carry on tomorrow. Okay? Yes?
Amini.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Yeah, this is still, as you can see, I'm correcting so many mistakes. So tomorrow I will share it with you all. Okay? See, here is also another mistake. So many things got mistake. The Devanagari all went away for some reason. So I will share it with you after correcting it. Okay? All right.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Oh,
Thank you for your patience, Swami.
Thank you, Swaminiji.
You
Thank you,
tomorrow.
Swaminiji.
take care.
Namaste.
All the best. Have a wonderful
Om.
day or night wherever you are.